Hi friends. Today I want to talk a little bit about voicing ideas for the melodic minor scale, chord scale. Really what I want to get into is potentially a different look. I'm assuming most folks who are interested in this video probably already know the modes of the melodic minor scale. If you don't, there's probably certainly tons on YouTube, so I won't bore you with all of that. But if you don't, you might want to go and look at some of those first. There's really four modes of the melodic minor scale that I wanted to focus on today to really look at combining them into a sort of a single entity and base a bunch of different voicings around these things. And those four modes are the first mode, the melodic minor scale itself, the third mode of the melodic minor, which is Lydian Augmented, the fourth mode, Lydian flat 7, and the seventh mode, altered dominant. So those four chord scales, if we think about them in relative sense, so I'm going to pick a key, I'll go through what I played at the beginning. We'll pick that apart, which was in the key of F melodic minor, but I'm really thinking of it in terms of F melodic minor, A flat Lydian augmented, B flat Lydian flat 7, or E altered dominant, all of them being the same. So let me explain this in a little bit more, in some more sense that hopefully will make this click for you. If we think about a normal mode, like let's say the Dorian mode, let's say A Dorian, so the notes being A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. If we built an arpeggio of those those chord tones, we'd have the root, the minor third, the fifth, the flat seventh, the ninth, the 11th, and the 13th. Right? So if we played an A minor with a 9, an A minor 7 with a 9, an 11, and a 13, we would essentially be playing all the chord tones from that chord scale. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about these chords not just as 4-note voicings, but as a complete chord scale. So all of the notes in the mode are available as tensions on the chord. So that's the basic premise here. So let's take a look at it. Basically, what I did was, this is a useful topic for me, a useful concept for me that I'm hoping you might find some use out of, which is to come up with some voicings that, number one, I like the sound of, that are playable, that I can move around to different things, but then find multiple uses for those same things. So for example, here's something that close to what I played at the beginning, which was this voicing. Here I'm thinking of F melodic minor as my fundamental. So if I'm doing that, what are these notes? So here I have A flat, which is the minor third, D, which is the 6th or the 13th, E, which is the major 7th, and C, which is the 5th. So this is a potential voicing for an F minor major 7 chord. Now, what if the root were A flat and it was an A flat sharp 5 chord, which is the third chord diatonically in F melodic minor? Well, then the A flat would be the root, the D would be the sharp 11, the E would be the sharp 5, and the C would be the third. So again, all these notes, viable uses for an A flat sharp 5 chord. What if the root were B flat and it was a B flat 7 with sharp 11, which is the fourth mode of F melodic minor? Well, the A flat would be the flat 7th, the D would be the 3rd, the E would be the sharp 11 or the sharp 4, and the C would be the 9th. So this would be a perfect voicing for a B flat 7 with the sharp 11. What if it were an E7, an E altered chord? Most people play the Hendrix chord, right? The sharp 9. Well, what if this voicing were, if E were the root? Well, now I've got the major 3rd, the flat 7th, the root, and the the flat 13. So again, this one voicing could be an F minor major 7, an A flat sharp 5 major 7, or so I should say A flat major 7 with sharp 5, a B flat 7 with sharp 11, or an E altered, right? All of them the same. And that's what I did with come up with a few voicings that I like. Here was another one that I played. If you went through the same thing, you would find, oh, if this was an F minor major 7 chord, what notes do we have? We have A flat, we have C, we have E, and we have G. Well, that's the minor 3rd, the 5th, the major 7th, and the 9th. If A flat were our root, what do we have? We have the root, the 3rd, the sharp 5, and the major 7th. If B flat were the root, what do we have? We have the flat 7th, the 9th, the sharp 11th, and the 13th. If E was the root, what do we have? We have the major 3rd, the flat 13, the root, and the sharp 9. So again, all these notes are in all of those chords. So what I'm doing is coming up with some voicings, which I'll overlay and give them to you so you can see them. I'll give you some chord charts so you can mess around with these. But I'm thinking that any of these could be used for any of those 4 chord types that we talked about. F minor major 7, A flat major 7 sharp 5, B flat 7 sharp 11, and E dominant 7th, E7 altered. So all of these chords, again, I'll give them to you. I'll either link a PDF or I'll just overlay them on the video. I haven't done that yet. That these are possible uses. Same thing with, I came up with another set over here. Here's another one, or another one, and finally, all of these are voicings that could be used for any of those chords. So this concept is one that can really help expand your melodic vocabulary as well as your harmonic vocabulary, right? So like basically what I did at the beginning was play some chords, and then in between everything I'm thinking of the F melodic minor scale, or the A flat major 7 sharp 5 scale, or the Lydian flat 7 scale, or the E altered dominant scale. They're all the same. Relatively, they're all the same. So that's what I was basically doing, is just playing some voicings, right, and playing the scale in between. And these are ways that I think can be really useful to give you some simple ideas about taking a common chord form, but looking at the intervals in your voicings against the different root notes of that mode. And then anytime these chord types come up, you have a coverage of the fingerboard, right? If you're up high and you want to play an F minor major 7 chord, well, what do you typically do? Do you have one shape, or do you have multiples that you could think of? Any of these particular voicings could be interchangeable. So that's the idea, to take some of your harmonic and melodic vocabulary, expand the uses of it, and hopefully that will increase your knowledge of the music. It'll increase your knowledge of the fingerboard and give you a little bit more freedom to execute whatever ideas come to you. Check it out and let me know what you think.